Okay, so I want to teach you how to learn how to start to do a PhD. This is going to really help you out in terms of when you're just starting to do a PhD, in terms of figuring out what you want to do. The biggest problem for everybody is nobody knows what the heck that they're going to do it on. They might have sort of this general idea that they're interested in doing a PhD, but they don't have any idea what they're interested in. And this is going to help you out a lot. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Massack. I'm an Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship, and I created this whole Reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor for to help you out as much as I can. So I actually built the sharing economy editing platform. That's what reciprocity.com is to get feedback on your work. Go check that out. Building a lot of stuff every single day. We're building more stuff into the platform. So please go sign up, check it out, buy some credits, all that kind of stuff. All right, so what's the problem here, right? Why is it so tricky? There's two sort of layers that happen when you're doing a PhD, and many people don't realize this. The first layer is that there's kind of like a practical aspect that people do research on. And this is it's called the sort of context, the thing that is broadly available. Everybody talks about it, and it's in popular culture. It's really easy to understand. And then underlying that, this is the thing where lots of people spend a lot of time on, it's the theory. And that stuff is not talked about in popular culture. Many people don't understand it. It's not as clear cut. And so what you're doing with this is layering on top sort of context with the theory. And the problem that happens is at most really good institutions, most people spend a great deal of time on the theory, and very few people spend time on the context. And so you might not understand what you're interested in. Now, theory is just kind of like a fancy word for a little bit more abstract thinking. They're just thinking a little bit more broadly about this, so it applies to many different contexts. That's it. It's not really anything that's like scary or anything like that. It's not like how people talk about that in popular culture. So what you need to think about is, how do I get to the point where I can find somebody that's doing something that's interesting, that I can actually understand? Right, so the way that I would think about this, I would think about the university system as there's kind of a pecking order that happens in a university, in all of the universities. Most people don't really realize this, maybe you do, but at the top tier universities, very top tier universities, it tend to be very theoretical. And they're like, the people that are there, they're very theoretical, they're very prolific. But they also, it's a good starting position for you to think about what thing that I should look at. So if I were you, I would look at, all of the top institutions that are available, like, Stanford and Princeton and Harvard, and basically the top 5 institutions that you can think of. And look what those people are actually writing about in the area of choice. So you might be really confused in terms of the area of choice, but what you're really thinking about is leveraging what you already know. So if you've done ecology, then think about how you can do ecology. If you have done engineering, then think about engineering in those particular areas. I didn't know any of this kind of stuff, so I was not really, it was kind of dumb to be honest, really dumb. The other thing that you could do is think about I switched from engineering to management, which is not like a big jump, but for a lot of people, conceptually, it seems like a big jump. So what you can think about is leveraging your skills in different areas, right? So if you do AI right now, if you're computer programming, heck, we need lots of people like that in management. You need that in all sorts of different areas, and in areas that might be applied in different ways. So what you can think about is how to actually apply the thing that you already know in a different area. And that is pretty useful as well. So coming back to, looking at those top 5 universities, what you want to do is just go on to the faculty profiles of people. So just actually Google whatever you're interested in at those universities. So you might go, maybe you're interested in, I don't know, the hydrogen economy, right? Like or maybe you're interested in the electrical economy. So then you would look up the electrical economy and then, Harvard University. And then there's only going to be some people that are going to pop up that are going to do that. Now, what I also want you to do is also type in as a keyword as the area that you're interested in, because it's going to pop up somebody randomly from engineering. For sure it's going to do that. So you want to pop up like the 3 terms, right? So it's going to be maybe it's a hydrogen economy, maybe it is, Harvard University, and maybe it is management, for example. That's my field. And you're going to find people that are interested in that, or maybe it's algorithms in the algorithmic economy. So you're going to put in algorithmic economy, Harvard, and then anyways, you get the picture. So you want to have those sort of 3 parameters, and you're going to get a few people that are going to pop up in that area. And first things first, it's highly unlikely that you're going to ever get into those institutions. They're just very competitive to get into. The vast majority of people, they're going to have 250 people that apply to get into the institution, and there's going to be 2 spots for them. So highly unlikely you're going to get in. It's probably even bigger than that. It's probably like 500 to 2 spots. So you're not going to get in unless you actually know people. So this is what you do, though, is that you use what they're thinking about to get into different areas. So then you'd go on to, okay, you found this one researcher here that's doing this stuff. Then you go look at their publication list and see what they're actually writing about. And so you actually pull one of the papers, read the paper that they wrote, and then go to the citation list at the end, the reference list at the end. So once you read the paper, you're like, I kind of like it. It's interesting. I could see myself doing this kind of stuff. Then go to the end of it and say, wait a minute, there's this list of all of these people that they're citing. So then those are the group of people that you would be actually applying to and that you would be interested in. So obviously, when you're doing this, when you're going through all of these different lists of paper, or when you're going through the papers, you want to skim the beginning abstract to sort of think about what you're interested in. Does this make me excited? Does this make me feel excited about this? And if you stumble across an abstract that makes you excited, and maybe it's the first page that makes you really excited, you're like, hey, this is kind of really neat. Then you go and read the whole paper, go down to the end, look at that reference list, and then you've got the group of scholars that you should be applying to. And then you would be actually looking at the universities where those scholars are actually at. So that boils down your list to maybe it's 60 different scholars or researchers, or maybe it's 100, but that's a narrow list of where you can apply to and you can think about. And as you're doing that, you sort of build up from those citations. You go and you build up the list of universities. So you look at where the universities that they're actually attending, or where they actually are, and then you build up the list of universities of where you should be applying to and working with. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go on this journey, right? As you're going and reading some of this stuff, you're going to go a little bit deeper into the literature. And then as you're doing that, make notes. Make a lot of notes. As each paper that you're writing, write one paragraph, or maybe it is a page. If you're really, you can write a lot, but just write one paragraph about each paper. And then you're going to have this after you've read about 3 or 4 different papers from different people at different universities, right? So don't just focus on that one university and that one person. Read their paper and then go on to somebody else from a different university. Perhaps, a university that is not as well represented, right? So maybe it is, so instead of Harvard University, you look at, I apologize for anybody that's there. It's a great university, but it's just as not well known, but say University of Manitoba, right? So you find somebody from the University of Manitoba, and you read their stuff, and you can see as you're doing this, you're getting a broad spectrum of the literature. You're really understanding what's going on, and you're also getting a broad spectrum of the people that are interested in this, and that gives you different places that you can apply to, and it allows you to have a lot more opportunities. And now, coming back to why I wanted you to make little notes along the way, as you're doing that, you'll notice that you'll create a story of what's going on, and so you'll actually have some stuff that you can write about what you're interested in for your proposal or for the thing that you're getting into. Now, this process will probably take, so for me, it would probably take me a week, but for you, it would probably take 3 or 4 months. So bet on it taking 3 or 4 months to go through this. It's going to be really dense reading. It's going to be hard to do. But as you're doing this, you're going to really start exploring and finding not only the interesting context, but also understanding some of the theory that's behind it and what is going on with the theory. Really important to do this, because now you can actually carry on a conversation about the theory, which is what everybody is really interested in, rather than the actual context in the academic world. So remember that. So hopefully this helps you out, gives you a little bit of a framework to jump in and to actually become a PhD. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.